Hey guys and girls, King Lear here from Broceed to Checkpoint, and welcome to Final Fantasy XIV. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the game, this first episode is going to be giving you a bit of background and an introduction to the game itself before we kick things off and start gameplay properly. If you're not interested in seeing some cutscenes and some history of the game, then please feel free to skip to the next episode, which will be the actual gameplay. I'm going to put the two out on the same day, so at least if you don't want to watch this, you can jump straight in and view the gameplay of it. Final Fantasy XIV is the MMO version of Final Fantasy, released by Square Enix. The original game launched in September 2010 and was received very negatively. It wasn't ready for launch, and the actual game wasn't all that good. It had a small following of players that played it an awful lot, but never really took off into the mainstream because it just wasn't up to scratch. For the first time in MMO history, as far as I'm aware at least, they completely shifted the focus of the game after it launched. The game ran from September 22nd, 2010 until November the 11th, 2012. So almost 2 years before Square Enix not so much gave up on the game, but decided it just wasn't good enough. The game was shut down, the servers were closed, and Final Fantasy XIV, in the version it was back then at least, was never to be seen again. What they did do was they rebuilt the entire game from scratch over the period of a couple of years, and eventually went on to relaunch the game with a whole new system behind it. Normally, MMOs that perform poorly are just shut down, and that's the last you hear of them. But in this particular case, they got together, they realized it wasn't working, and decided that they weren't ready to give up. So they shut the game down for quite a while. I'm pretty sure it was shut down for a year, if not two, while they rebuilt the game from scratch. Completely rebuilt it again. What they did, rather than just decide to give up and close the game down, is they built the shutting down of the game into the story. They ended the original Final Fantasy XIV with a storyline that eventually came to a climax with a gigantic battle which destroyed a large portion of the world, and that was the kind of background story for revamping the game from scratch that they had designed. What I'm going to show you now is the cutscene that triggered the relaunch of the game. Shows the end of the storyline of the original game, leading into the relaunch of the new game, which is Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. So we're going to be playing the relaunch version. But just as a bit of background, I'll give you a look at the cutscene and the kind of story that ended the original version of the game. So here you go. So that was the cutscene that ended Final Fantasy XIV 1.0. They went back, revamped the whole game, new server system behind them, new graphics engine, redesigned all of the zones from scratch, completely redid the UI, edited the playable races, added content finder, added additional jobs and obviously classes, and went back and reworked the existing ones as well. Just added tons and tons of more content and basically revamped the entire engine behind the game as well. Massive job. The original game, as I said, shut down. The relaunch came out August 27, 2013. So that's when the version that we're going to start playing now came out. Roughly a year and a half ago at this point. It has been wildly more successful than the first version was. It has millions of players. It's still growing constantly. And in about 8 days' time, actually, it's about to release its first expansion pack as well. So hugely successful game compared to the original one. Probably the biggest turnaround in MMO history. To go from a game that just absolutely failed expectations to one which has, for all intents and purposes, been a massive success since the relaunch again, and is definitely one of the most competitive subscription-based games out on the market these days, because there's not a lot of those left. Obviously, World of Warcraft being the big one. Arguably, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this has to be the second largest, considering the player base and considering it's still a subscription and is successful as one, where other games have obviously gone free to play or buy to play or have had to change how they work. So yeah, revamped the game from scratch and relaunched as Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. I'm going to show you the launch trailer now, and that'll be the end of this introduction and this brief history of the game. And then we will be jumping into some gameplay. I'll be making a new character to play through the story of the game and show you all of the features and things included in it.
Hydaelyn. A vibrant planet blessed by the light of the crystal. Amid azure seas, encompassing the westernmost of the 3 great continents, there lies a realm embraced by gods and forged by heroes. Her name, Eorzea. The annals of Eorzean history chart the rise of a succession of great civilizations, each one enjoying an age of peace, the Astral Eras. To date, all have proven ephemeral. In the year 1572 of the 6th and most recent Astral Era, the Northern Empire of Garlemald amassed a great army at the heart of Eorzea, seeking dominion over all. Rising in desperate resistance, the forces of the Eorzean Alliance met their would-be conquerors in the field. Yet, even as the battle raged, the lesser moon, Dalamud, was plucked from the heavens through imperial machination. From its core emerged the elder primal Bahamut, who unleashed his fury upon the realm. The devastation brought Eorzea to its knees and the era to its end. 5 years have come and gone. The light of life still shines upon Eorzea. Man labors tirelessly to raise himself from the calamity's ruin. The realm is forever changed, a stranger to him once more. Yet heedless of what lies ahead, he shall press on. Spurred by the promise of peace and prosperity. Amid this period of great change, an adventurer arrives in Eorzea, one whose tale is yet unwritten. May he ever walk in the light of the crystal.
And that is it. That was the opening movie for the relaunch of the game. So I hope you've enjoyed this bit of background. If you're interested in it, if you've stuck it out till the end. And feel free to click over to the next episode. As I said, for those who didn't want to watch the background, I put out the first episode of gameplay the same day. So you can click over and watch our character creation and the start of the gameplay now. And hopefully some of you are interested in this, and we can journey through Eorzea together. I'll say it now, if anyone is interested in playing the game, gets into it from the Let's Play series, there is a 2-week free trial available. I'll leave the link in the description. And I play on the EU server Moogle. It's a busy server. It's generally closed for character creation through most of the day, but character creation restrictions are based on the amount of players on the server at the time. So if you get up early or you go to bed late, you can normally find a quiet time when you're able to create a character. Once you have one, you can get on and play just fine, but the server is one of the most popular ones, so they have to restrict character creation on it during the busy times of the day. But yeah, I am on Moogle if anyone wants to join me, and I'll see you for the gameplay in the next episode.